Hey guys, good morning and welcome to today's midweek message. We're so thankful that you're joining us this morning. And if you're looking for more ways to partner with Water's Edge, there's 4 simple ways to do so. The first way is you can give online. You can visit watersedgegathering.com and click on giving. From there, you'll be led to eGive, our online giving platform. Or you can text to give. You can text or give to 337-223-9003. From there, you can enter your dollar amount and then you'll be led to on-screen instructions. Or you can give within the church app. Make sure to go to your app store or wherever you get apps from and look for the church app. It'll be a white icon with a gray cross. And from within the church app, search Water's Edge Gathering. From there, click Give and you can give your tithes and offerings. Or you can give through the mail. You can do so by mailing Water's Edge Gathering at P.O. Box 572, Lake Charles, Louisiana 70602, or Water's Edge Gathering at 2760 Power Center Parkway, Lake Charles, Louisiana 70607. We love you so much. We hope you enjoy today's message from Pastor Tony.
What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to our Wednesday morning Bible teaching video. We hope you're having a wonderful week. We also hope that you tune in Sunday morning to our Sunday morning online worship experience. I put together some information a few weeks ago for the next couple of weeks. I think it's going to be awesome. I think you're going to love it. I think it's really going to help you out. Also, don't forget that the countdown to Easter in September and also the Water's Edge anniversary, 13 years is on. So be looking forward to that and more details on our social media site as the date approaches. Also, for those of you who are continuing to give and be generous online or through the mail during this time, thank you so much. Whenever you love something, you're generous towards that thing or that person. If you love somebody, you're generous towards that person. If you love something, you're generous towards that thing. And when you love your church, then you're generous towards your church with donations and time and love and resources. And so thank you so much for those of you who are continuing to give and be generous. When you give to the Water's Edge, you're collaborating together with God to do great and awesome ministry. So we're continuing to love people and help people and baptize people and feed people and put out these awesome teaching videos and just keep the lights on in our building and all those types of things. And so thank you so much for loving us enough to be generous. Again, when you're generous to the Water's Edge, you collaborate together with God to do God's work. So thank you so much. Today, I want to talk to you about what I talked to you about Sunday morning. Just going to take it a step further, and that's our past. We all have good times and bad times. We have sad moments. We have happy moments. We have discouraging moments. We have moments of joy, all in our past. And so we could describe this today in this way. We all have a past. Parts of our past is beautiful. Parts of it's very messy. But the real issue concerning our past is this. Most of the time, there are many things in our past that's very painful. So how can we recover from our past today? How can we heal from our past today? And how can we be set free from our past today? Now, we all have smartphones, most of us. And our smartphones, you can do pretty much anything on those. In fact, we rarely talk on our phones today, even though that's what we did on our phones for the past 100 years, but we rarely talk on our phones today. And this is really a great illustration of living in bondage to our past. Let's say that we all know someone who just refuses to get a modern day cell phone, smartphone. They just refuse, no cell phones at all. They still want their old phone, their old landline, mounted on their wall in between their kitchen and their living room with that cord connected to it. With a smartphone today, you really don't have any limits at all. You can use it anywhere you go as long as there's cell phone service. And you can use it to send emails, to check emails, to make voice memos, to send voice memos, to take notes, to organize your calendar, to do your banking, to look up something on Google. You can use your smartphone today to send text messages. You can even use your smartphone today to call somebody, man. Imagine that. But we have really no limits today with our smartphones. But if you don't want to move forward today and get a new cell phone, and all you still have is that old phone, that old landline mounted on your wall with a cord, then you're stuck a little bit. You're limited a little bit. You're held back a little bit by the limitations of that old landline phone that's mounted on the wall with that cord. You're limited by its limitations. And your past will do the same thing to you today. Before you today, in your life and in your future, God has love waiting for you. God has peace waiting for you. God has new opportunities waiting for you. God has new relationships waiting for you. God has new moments for you to serve Him ahead of you, waiting for you. But if you keep going back to your past, if you keep dwelling on your past, if you keep thinking about your past, then it'll always limit you and it'll always hold you back. And so for some of us today, it's simply time to let go. For some of us, we just need to let go of some of that regret. We just need to let go of some of those memories. We just need to let go of some of those circumstances that none of us can change anyway. Now, anytime my past comes up, and it comes up often, anytime my past comes up and it really starts to burden me and bother me and be a source of pain and worry and fear and guilt in my life, and I battle with it and I struggle with my past, I'll always go back to my two favorite Bible verses concerning my past. And I think I'm going to share them with you today. I think they can also help you when you struggle and you battle with your past. The first one is this. It's found in Philippians chapter 3, verse 13. Paul says, "No, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it." Now, what is he talking about when he says, "I have not achieved it"? Paul says, I'm trying my best right now in my life to follow Jesus. I'm trying my best to love God. I'm trying my best to live holy. I'm trying my best to love people and serve God. I'm trying my best to be excellent in everything that I do. But he says, I'm not fully there yet. Or I haven't achieved all of that yet. Or we could put it this way. He says, I still have a lot of work to do, which we all could say that right now in my life. I'm trying to do my best. I'm trying to be excellent in everything that I do. I'm trying to love God, love people, serve Jesus, follow Jesus, walk with Jesus, and love God and all those types of things. But I still have some work to do. I'm trying, but I haven't achieved it yet. I still have some work to do. So he could get discouraged because of this. He could get defeated and ashamed because he wasn't there yet. But instead, watch the response of Paul. His response to the fact that he still has a lot of changes to make in his life and he still has a lot of work to do. Watch his response in verse 13. "No, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it, but I focus on this one thing, forgetting the past and looking forward to what lies ahead." And so understand this, to recover from your past, to heal from your past, to be set free from your past, Paul says it demands that we focus on one thing. To heal and to recover and to be set free from your past, it demands that we focus on one thing. And this is what we're so focused on doing, forgetting. You have to focus on forgetting the past. And then you have to focus on looking forward to God and what He has in store for you, ahead of you in your future. Now, notice the word forgetting in this phrase, and notice the phrase looking forward. Forgetting has to do with our mind and what we think about. Looking forward has to do with our mind and what we focus on. Let me say that again. Forgetting has to do with our mind and what we constantly think about. But looking forward has to do with our mind and what we focus on ahead of us. And so Paul says this, the one thing I do is this, I focus on not letting my mind take me back to my past. I focus on not letting my mind take me back to my past mistakes, my past choices, my past regrets, my past pain over and over again constantly. And so remember this today. Freedom over your past starts with what you let control your mind. If you want freedom over your past, that all starts with what you let consume your thoughts, because either guilt or forgiveness will control your mind. Either bitterness or love will control your mind. Either shame or peace, either regret or determination will control your mind. The next two verses, I love this passage. It's Luke chapter 9, and we'll start in verse 61. Another person said to Jesus, "Yes, Lord, I will follow you, but first let me say goodbye to my family." So right here in this passage, Jesus is calling disciples, more disciples, to follow him in this life and to follow him in this world. And some of these future disciples, some of these people kept making excuses as to why they couldn't follow Jesus right now. And so they were very clear, Jesus, we do love you. We do want to follow you, But first, let me go home and bury my father. First, let me go home and say goodbye to my family. First, let me go back and do this. And so what they were basically saying was this: I know that I need to do this. I know that I need to follow you, and I will, but first, I can't do it right now because first I need to go back and do this or get this ready or take care of this before I can follow you. And we do that all the time with God, don't we? I know that I need God to help me change in my emotions. I know that I need God to help me change in my habits. I know that I need God to help me change in my health. I know that I need God to help me change in my relationships. I know that I need God to help me change in my reactions. I know that I need my faith to grow, but I just can't take that step in my life right now. I will, but I don't feel like I can do that right now. We always making excuses. But notice what Jesus says in verse 62. But Jesus told him, anyone who puts a hand to the plow and then looks back is not fit for the kingdom of God. Now, right here, Jesus is talking about a farmer using a plow on a field. And the farmer puts his hands on the plow and he starts plowing. And the goal of the farmer is to make straight rows in the soil as he builds up the crops. Make straight rows in the field, straight rows in the soil as you build up your crops. He does this by putting his hand to the plow and looking forward at an object in the distance that he chooses, and he keeps his eyes on that object in the distance ahead of him, forward, ahead of him, and he never takes his eyes off that object so he can plow in straight rows. But right here, Jesus creates a picture of a farmer who puts his hands to the plow, and instead of focusing and looking forward and going forward, this farmer is always going back and looking back. And the wording that Jesus uses right here in the scripture is someone who's always, constantly looking back. And so the result is crooked lines in the soil, unstraight lines in the field, a messed up farm. And in the same way, Jesus says right here that if we want to be set free and go forward as a disciple, if we want to be set free and go forward in our relationships, in our future, in our life, then stop looking back all the time. And all that starts where? In our mind. It starts with what we think about, focus on, hold on to, and dwell on in our thoughts. Remember this today. If you're still with me, say I'm still with you. Freedom over your past starts with what you let control your mind. So focus on Jesus and what's ahead of you in his kingdom. Focus on Jesus and what's ahead of you in his kingdom. Now, because of all that, I want you to notice a few observations today that I think will really help you out as you deal with the recovering and healing from your past. Someone may ask, Tony, is there ever a good time in my life when I can look back at my past? And the answer is yes. But remember this today. Take note of this today. It's only healthy to look back at your past when your mind is in a good place to learn from your past. It's only a healthy thing to constantly look back at your past if you can get your mind to a place where you're ready to learn from it. So keep this in mind today as you try to learn from your past. The first thing is this: there is a message for you in each of your past experiences. This is what I mean. There was a reason that relationship went bad. There was a reason that happened in your family. There was a reason that happened in your health. There was a reason that happened in your finances. There was a reason that happened at your job. There was a reason that happened in your marriage. That was a reason that happened to your faith. That was a reason that happened in your life. And if you can find the reason, then you can learn from it. If you can find the reason that these experiences happened in your past, then you can learn from that reason. And this is how you can find the reason. The second thing is this. If you're ready for it, say, I'm ready. I can't hear you, but I can hear you. I'm so glad you're still with me. Number 2, ask this question. What caused me this heartache? Was it a failure? Was it a circumstance? Was it a breakup? Was it a divorce? Was it a family division? Was it a loss of a job? Was it a loss in your life? Was it a sickness? Was it a choice that you made? So in your mind, if you're ready to learn, then always ask, what was it specifically that caused me this pain and this heartache in my life? And then after that, once you've identified that, ask this question, number 3. What part did I play in creating that heartache? Was it my manipulation? Was it my selfishness? Was it my choices? Was it my laziness? Was it my irresponsibility? Was it my bad attitude? Was it my lack of self-control? And so there is pain, but what role did I play in creating that pain in my life? Own it and take a very honest evaluation of your heart. And then lastly, the most important question is this, number 4. What steps will I take to make sure I don't go backwards? Paul said the one thing I focus on is this, forgetting. I focus on forgetting the past and moving forward with Jesus in my life. And then Jesus said, if you want to go forward in this life, if you want to be set free, if you want to heal, if you want to recover from your past, if you want to go forward, then stop constantly thinking backwards about your past and focus your thoughts, your mind, your heart, your soul forward on Jesus. Why? Because God has new memories ahead of you, waiting for you. God has new opportunities to serve Him and to love people, waiting for you, ahead of you. God has a new purpose and a new peace, new relationships, new beginnings ahead of you, waiting for you to experience. And so the one thing that we do to recover from our past is to forget about what's behind us. Jesus is ahead of us. And so we focus our mind, our heart, and our soul on Him ahead of us, and we go forward. We love you. We hope this has helped you out today. Don't forget, tune in Sunday morning to our online worship experience. It's going to help you out. Thank you so much.